Hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm Shane's mom, Tracy's mom, and the wife of Dennis Hoefer, who founded Rocky Mountain Forest Products. Dennis always wanted to own his own business. That's what he talked about. He had worked for Kmart as a department manager, and he had also worked with his brother in his refrigeration company, but it just wasn't what he wanted. He was looking for something else. And a neighbor of ours had a business for sale which consisted of a truck and a load of wood. And it called it a fence company. He talked to Dennis one day and said, "Would you be interested in buying my company?" Well, Dennis came home and threw it at me, and I said, "Well, sure, I don't know, go ahead." We were young, we didn't know what we were doing. We would have been 23 years old. And I could kind of tell when this business opportunity came along, it had piqued his interest. It was something that he wanted. So anyway, I don't know exactly what the deal was, but he made a deal with the guy, and we owned a truck and a couple bunks of wood. He rented a little building down in Wheat Ridge, a small place, and set everything up. It was just a small little house that had been converted into sort of offices, and that's where we moved into, and it had a yard where we could store a little bit of lumber and park trucks.
So it was just kind of a rental thing?
Mm-hmm. It was just a rental.
And then when he moved to 44th, did he buy that property?
Yes, we did buy that property. It was a big deal, a big purchase, and I guess it proved to be a good one because we're still there. But
was that an old house or was it an actual office?
It was an old house.
Yeah, that he converted into offices?
Mm-hmm. Right now on either side of us at that location are businesses, but it was house, right next to each other. And things have just changed over the years.
So did he have that whole entire yard area in the back at 44th, or did that just expand?
It expanded. He later bought the portion where the warehouse sits now. That was another parcel of land. For the longest time, out in the backyard where the warehouse and the main yard is now, there were huge cottonwood trees growing there, and we just had to stack the bunks of lumber between the trees. And then eventually it got to the point where we needed more space, and that's when he bought the land behind, built the warehouse. And
so a lot of family worked. Papa started it. Well, you started it really, like you guys worked as a team together, and then Papa came in, and then Papa was
my dad.
Your dad? What did he end up doing?
Sales.
Oh, sales.
He sat in an office and he helped customers that came into the yard, that pulled into the yard to buy. He was a bookbinder all his life, and then he came down and decided when he retired from there that he was going to come down and help Denny sell. And he was good at it. He did good. Yeah, he did real good at it.
What did sales look like back then? Was it door to door or phone calls, or how did Papa sell?
The only place we advertised was in the phone book back then, and people I remember my dad and I at times would go out and we would go pamphleting. And we would take the pamphlets, we'd go to a neighborhood, and we would just put something on somebody's door every day. And we did that, my dad and I did that a lot together. That's how we generated a lot of sales from that and from the phone book. And I mean, that was pretty much it. Other than that, seeing your name as people drove by, just walk-ins. That was all. I mean, it's so different than it is now with all the different ways to get your name out there. And then in my spare time, I would do the books, take care of the baby and do the books.
So did you have an accounting background in order to do the books, or did he just kind of show you?
We sent me to a class, and I went and took a class just because our books were so basic. It was very simple back then. And then as time went on and I continued to do the books and the company grew, I took more classes and learned more and how to really do a general ledger and do the posting and all of that kind of stuff. But no, in the beginning it was very, very, very basic, very simple. I kind of liked doing them, and it was something new. I was always a secretary prior to that for a few years, and when I got to do the books, it was just a little bit of change of pace, and I liked the idea of being involved in helping in the business.
It was probably hard to have spare time to do books.
It was.
When you had a brand new baby.
It really was. It was hard. It was very hard.
Did it start off pretty slow, or did it pick up momentum pretty quick with building fences for people down there? Or?
No, it seemed like it went pretty slow because he had to hire crews. The company didn't come with any crews or anything like that. So he had to hire all his people. He had to figure out where to buy the lumber from. He had to figure out everything from the get-go, but that's who he was. He loved problem solving. So it didn't bother him at all. Gave him a lot to work on. It made him happy.
Where would be the places that he would buy lumber?
Early on, he met a guy in Salt Lake City with a mill, and that's where he started getting all of his material from for a while.
Would that be brought in by like semi-loads or something? Yeah.
Yep, that would be brought in by semi. There was a point at which Dennis decided he wasn't going to pay shipping anymore, and he bought us a semi.
Who was going to drive it?
Oh, he hired a driver.
Oh,
a driver that used to drive.
My grandpa could have done it for you guys.
There you go. See, we only would have known. I don't even remember exactly how he went out and found it, but by God, he did. He found it. But yes.
I remember that now that you say that.
And so then I had to learn how to keep the logs. And I'm trying to think, the guy's first name was Dave. What was his last name? He was the truck driver. And he would pull and they'd say, "She's here!" and it was like, "Here we go, well, unload the truck." I mean, it was a big deal. And then I have to get the logs from the guy, and I have to keep all these records. And
oh my gosh. So was that just about mileage and tax?
Yeah.
Or something, or what?
Yeah, it was about the weight and the miles and hell, I don't know. But that was like,
How long did that last?
Oh, I want to say maybe only a couple of years, because it really wasn't.
It didn't save you any money.
Saving any money. But we went through a little spell where we had trouble getting trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't have that many shipments. I mean, that many truckloads come in every week. But if we couldn't get a truck, I mean, that could mess your whole week up if you didn't get your truck loaded in. So, yeah, he went and bought a truck. But yeah, it was really hard in the beginning because he didn't really know how anything worked, but he soon figured it out. He hired people that had experience in fence installation, so he learned a lot from them. But it was a lot of long hours, because when they went out on a job, he didn't have them just stop at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. It was you stay until the job is done. That's how he felt he was going to make some money, by not resending the crew out again. He would leave in the morning about 7 o'clock, and he would get home usually no later than 10. And on a good day, he might get home about 8 o'clock if the crews got in early. And so that made a lot of long hours for me, sitting home
with a brand new baby.
With a brand new baby, and of course we only had one car, and that was a little Chevy Vega, if that doesn't date us. And he would take the car to work, which would leave me at home. And it got a little boring, days got a little long. It was hard all the way around for a while.
So do I remember right? Did you tell me a story that you used to get so bored that you would iron sheets?
Yes.
I don't know if I could ever get that bored to iron sheets.
Well, that just goes to show, right?
How bored you really were, right?
Yeah. I did. I actually did that and watched a lot of TV.
So fast forward a little bit, she was about 4 years old, right? When it was starting to get bigger?
Yeah, I would say so. Mm-hmm.
Are you still owning just one car at that point in time, or did you guys end up getting another car since you have two babies now?
Well, yes, I eventually got my own car so I could tote car seats.
That company paid for a new car for you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
I know you guys talked about how it was difficult to keep the doors open sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it difficult to pay bills, stressful?
Yes, especially when the winter time came and it snowed for days on end and the crews couldn't work. It was really hard to make payroll, and there were lots of weeks we didn't even take a check. And I can remember when I finally got some daycare and I used to go down to the office for a few hours a day, that one day from the state of Colorado in walked the agent that we were behind on our taxes. And he was like a big Texan guy. And he flipped out his state of Colorado ID and he said, "Ma'am, you need to pay your taxes."
Nope.
I can even remember his name, but I won't say it. But anyway, yeah, so it was hard, and it was a lot of years of scraping by. There's no doubt about that. We scraped by a lot, but we made it.
I remember seeing a letter not long ago that I had a photo of that Nana wrote to you guys about how proud she was that Dad had wanted to make, was it $1 million in a year?
In sales, yeah.
That was his goal in sales, yeah. I think at that time you guys hit that goal that she wrote that letter to you, wasn't it?
If we didn't, we came close. Because we had been doing it for a while, and Dennis was beginning to perfect things, and he had quite a little team going, and he sold a lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he used to do all the selling. He liked selling, and he had a gift of gab, so he did enjoy it. He liked it.
He's pretty funny too.
Yeah, he had a good sense of humor, very good sense of humor.
And he was great with numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And very detail-oriented, and like I said before, he loved to be a problem solver. You know, just give him a problem, he'd say, "I'll fix that." That was his favorite saying, "I'll fix that." Yeah, and he did. I think he came awful close if he didn't hit it. And he was real proud of that number. There was something about saying $1 million, you know, that
Almost like feeling like a millionaire almost.
Yeah, I guess that you could say, I'm a millionaire in a way. Yeah. He was very resourceful, very smart. He never quit thinking. I mean, from the moment he got up in the morning, all day long, and then we'd be sitting here in the evening watching TV, and I could see he was still thinking. Instead of having his eyes on the TV, I could see him gazing out here, and the little wheels are turning. Let's see, what can I do different tomorrow? I mean, that's just who he was. He was never satisfied just to stay right here. He always wanted to change something, grow something, or do it better. He was a good businessman, though. He had the mind for it, and he enjoyed it. I think if he could tell us now, I think he would say he really enjoyed all of it, everything that he did, and I don't think he would change a thing except for not being able to pay the taxes and all those kind of things, you know. Yeah, the IRS bin.
I don't think if it would have been for you, he couldn't have gotten to where he was. You know, they talk a lot about successful people having the people behind them, standing behind them and encouraging them and doing all the stuff that people don't see on the backside.
At the time that you're being that supportive spouse, you don't feel like you're contributing, you don't feel you're of any value. But then in retrospect, you can look back and say, no, it was important because everybody needs someone to lean on. And everybody needs that person to understand when things go wrong, when you have a good day, when you have a bad day. They want that person there and just being there for them. And then not only that, when running a business, there's no time to raise the kids. That spouse's job, raising those children, is very, very important. We worked good together. We worked well. A lot of people don't do well working partners together, but we did. We really enjoyed it, and we got along well, and I think we were a good team. I am so proud of the business that I can't even find the words for it. The way it has evolved over the years, and all of the effort that Dennis put in it, and then now Shane is putting into it, and the whole family just being involved in it. It just makes me pretty proud, you know.
Everybody's kind of in positions that they really enjoy.
Yes, everybody seems to be great at what they're doing and hopefully enjoying it. And I don't think I would have done anything any different because I think it all happened the way it was supposed to happen. And in order for everything to evolve and to learn, it was a learning process. It all had to happen just that way.